Hi, it's Sue. Welcome back to Crafting by the River on what is a rather nice day. The sun's out at the moment, but there are a lot of dark clouds around, so I think we could get rain at some stage. Right, now to answer one of the questions that I received, am I going to cover this book? Yes, I am. And I thought today I'd turn the camera on while I take a really good look at what I've got to play with. Let's take that out for a moment. As you can see, this book has been somewhere damp. It is very, very damaged. So if I take the cover off, pop that to one side. Yeah. The back needs a bit of work. Just see if we can get this off. Unfortunately, if you can see, I've lost one of my nails. I get a bit carried away when I'm working outdoors sometimes. And I literally ripped that nail off. So I've filed the others down. I'm just hoping there's enough here to do what I want to do. Okay. All right, so that's the worst side for paper. So I'm going to go and I'll turn the camera off while I do this and just get rid of as much of this as I can, and I will be back. Okay, so this is done and I've wiped it over with a damp cloth, but I had to be a bit careful because it pulls up this second layer, this green layer. Not too sure how this is going to go. If this doesn't work, then I will cover it with paper. But for now, what I'm going to do is add a layer of gesso over the book. And I might, just trying to work out which is the worst, I might start on the front cover. Because you can see, you may not be able to see, but that is just a bit raised here. It's lifted away from the book board. Yeah, what I might do, hang on a moment, where's my awl? I don't know whether this will work, but I'll just poke a couple of little holes in there in the hope, and one there, that when I gesso, some of the gesso will go down and help glue that, so it lays a little bit flatter. Don't know, we'll see. Okay. So yeah, the next step is to add some gesso. Oops. I can get the top off, and I'm already covered in paint. Right. Okay. Now I do have a bit of water here, and I'm going to dip it in. I don't know whether I will. We'll see how it goes. See whether I need to thin it down any. Actually, what I should do is add some, this is just a cereal bag, and I'll add that inside the book just to protect the inner pages. There we go, that will do. And I can tell, I mean, here it's a bit bouncy too. So it'll be interesting to see how this works. And I want to go just over this end. I'll go just going inside as well, covering all the green. And I'm sorry if you can't quite see. Let's move that over. Let's move that back a minute. I'm literally just going over this area at the front because I'm going to glue this page back on itself here, or onto the book cover. Okay. And I will speed this bit up because it's going to be deadly dull to watch this. Okay, so I actually use my hot air gun thing, this thing, the dryer, the quick dryer, to dry the front page so that I could stand it up on the edge like this to paint the spine. And I've done the spine, and I'm going to try and cover this side in this position as much as I can. I know I'm going to have to turn it over to do the edges probably, but for now, if I can do this way around, and this is the back of the cover, which wasn't quite so damply marked, but it did have the stuck down paper down this end. So we'll just add a coat of gesso here, and again I'll speed this up. And this area here was where the green paper had been lifted from the book board. So I'm being a bit careful there because I think that's going to be an issue. I don't want it to lift anymore. Let's just tidy up the mess I made here, and we will lay this down. Now, just use that all to hold the page up, or the cover. And we're just, it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to cover over this anyway. It's just the first coat, or the first layer, if you like. Right. Now the only thing we haven't done is the inside. I'm not going to worry too much, I don't think. This is the back. And again, I'm going to glue this other page down, I think. And however, if I cover this, I'm thinking of using tissue. And if I use tissue, I will roll it over onto the inside. So hopefully that will cover the green. But just in case, we'll add a little bit of gesso. I've never done a book cover like this, so I'm not sure this could be a video that doesn't go live. If this doesn't work out, it's back to the drawing board, but I'm hopeful. I think it should. Right, so I'll get the heat gun on this and I will be back. Okay, so I actually put a second coat on, but a watered down second coat. And it's reasonably dry. I'm impatient, I can't wait. What I thought I'd do is add some stamping. And I've got a script stamp here that I often use on the gel plate. And I just thought, you know, a couple of areas just to add a little something. And you can hear that the stamp is sort of clinging to the gesso, but that's fine. I might just go off the page a bit here. That's good, and maybe on the back cover, the top, down here. Yep, good. That'll do. And I've used archival ink for that. So again, we'll let this dry, or I'll turn the... Right, I want that to be good and dry because what I've got here is some tissue, napkin. And I was thinking that I might add napkin over this. And what I thought was, I mean, one piece of napkin isn't going to cover it, but 2 pieces would. And I thought if I match them up in the spine area, that might work. And it doesn't matter if they overlap there particularly. I could even add another strip down the spine, or oh, excuse me, or even some fabric if I think it needs to be made a bit sturdier. So that's my plan. I just want this is still a bit tacky. So I just want this to dry, and then I'm debating using Mod Podge. I've got Mod Podge, and I've got Liquitex matte medium, and I can't decide which to use. I might add some matte medium over the top and just adhere it to the book cover with Mod Podge. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so I'll just let this dry off a bit and I'll be back. Okay, so here we go, Mod Podge. Let's get some over the book page or the book cover. And we just want an even coat. Make sure into that, there's a dip in the spine, make sure that's covered. Okay, and now let's cover the spine. And this basically will get covered twice, back and front. I'm starting on the back. Okay, lay it down. Here is our tissue. So we want to make sure we've got enough for the back or for the spine, and then just gently spread that out. I don't mind a few creases, it doesn't bother me too much. And gently press it into that dip before you reach the spine, and then the spine itself. So stand her up. There we go. And you can just see some of that script through. It just adds a bit of interest. That's good. So just gently fix this and open her up. Okay. Now, I've got to decide how I'm going to do these corners. And first off, I need to trim into that spine area. Okay. So that will wrap around like so. And then we can take off some of this because we don't want too much bulk. Sorry, I'm probably off screen. I'm just literally taking some off the corners. Tiny piece. That's one side. Let's lift her up gently. Having got this far. See if I can push this further back so you can see what I'm actually doing here. I'm trimming into the spine area. Again, it doesn't have to be too precise. I'm not too worried. So this will fold forward. This I'm hoping I can tuck up through the spine, but we'll see how we go with that. Now this area here, I'm going to take a chunk out of. There we go. And add some Mod Podge along the inside. Paint that on, making sure to cover the edges of the book cover. Go down into there. And across here, same. It's a bit stingy with the Mod Podge there. Okay, so let's start with this end and fold it up. All right, a little bit of Mod Podge here. This doesn't hurt at all, just add a bit more. Okay. Let's turn the book round and make sure we get this side nicely tucked in. Remembering that tissue is quite, or napkin is quite forgiving. You know, if you do rip it, you can add another piece. And I actually trimmed the side of mine down so that I knew I'd got a bit of extra, like a 2-inch strip, I think I ended up with. Just trim this back a bit. There we go. Now we're ready for the other side. Okay. Let's just freshen up that glue along there. And this goes back a fair way, so. Okay. And I'm going to go in like that. Remember, we're going to cover this page so you won't see this side. Oops. Now, this is the bit that overhangs, so we'll add some glue to that. It's along here. Turn that in. Got it reasonably straight and I've torn that one. It's okay, that will get covered. So that's the back covered. It needs to be sealed, but that's not looking too bad. Now let's look at the front. Okay. Need to be a bit careful down here. Right, Mod Podge. Where's my... Pop that in, just in case. Glue the first pages closed. Wouldn't be a very good thing, would it? Ooh, it's warming up here now. Either that or it's me, nervous. A little bit more down here. And that's a pretty good covering there. Stand her up again and let's get some down the spine. Right, where's my next piece? Here it is. feels like it needs a bit more Mod Podge down here. Gently. I don't want to tear it along that crease line. Okay. Now let's have a look at the spine. Yeah, it went a bit further over than I wanted, but that's not too bad. It just sort of turns, curls to the back. So we could, let's see. Run this along here. The rest will be done when we seal it. So just smooth that into there. See, I've got to be so careful I don't tear this. I think once it's sealed, it will be a bit more stable. Right, let's work on this. Now this was the front of the book and it was the most damaged, so it's down around here we need to work on. And that feels a bit lumpy, but not too bad. Okay, let's get my bigger scissors. And we'll do the same, trim up towards the spine. Do it. We'll flick around and do the same on this side. Perfect. Okay. Open her up gently. Take that out. Right, let's glue this down. Right, what we need. Happy with that. I want this. Let's trim away some of this. Need to make sure I've got glue down here. And I put plenty on there, so I'm not going to mess too much because it is wet and it will rip. So turn it round and let's work on this side. Once this is done, I'm going to leave it to dry for a couple of hours, I think, before I do anything else, because it's quite delicate at this point. Okay. So that just leaves this spine area again. So we'll do the same. Trim some of that excess off. you can't see what I'm doing. I'm so sorry. I'm literally just gently pushing that down, and some of it is tearing, but the first layer is down anyway, so I'm not too worried. Actually, look at that. Open it up this end and I can straighten that up a bit. I'm going to leave it at that. I can always trim once it's dry anything that is annoying, but for now I think that's pretty good, so I'm not going to mess anymore. So that's how we're looking so far. The spine covered reasonably well. I don't think at the moment I need to add any more. I mean, I do have some left. I could add another layer. I don't want to keep messing with this top. We'll see how it dries. So I'm going to let it dry properly now, and I might stand it that way round to give the spine a chance. Let it dry properly and then we'll seal it. Okay. Hi, I am back, and let me tell you, 2 hours drying time became overnight. Because basically what I did, I went in, I let the gluing part of the folder dry, and then I added the first coat of Liquitex matte medium, and I decided to let that dry overnight, that I would put a second coat on. So today I'm going to put the second coat. Yeah, it's dried quite well. I'm quite happy with that. I did a little repair on the spine here where it had pulled back some of the tissue. So I just cut another of the flowers to match. It was actually this poppy here. Down here, this is obviously the repeat. And just added that there. So, yeah. Oh, excuse me. Let's get the next coat on. And this will be the final coat. And then I will sort out inside. I've picked a piece of ribbon because I'm going to put a tie on it, but just a small tie at the side. And I think this was the last I had of this piece, and I think it goes quite well. So that's going on. And just a reminder, this was the original book cover. So, you know, it looks quite different now. You may or you may not like it this way, but this is the way it is. All right, let's go. It did take a while to dry, and I noticed that it pulled some of the colour from the napkin. So obviously the napkin wasn't colour fast, and I read the pack and it said, oh, what did it say? Something about water. The quality of the image was watery, water-based or something. Can't remember now. And I thought, yeah, and that's why it has run a little bit. But I don't, again, you know, I mean, the colours are such, I don't mind that. I just think it adds to the overall look, which I guess, you know, is just as well. All right. So I just get into that spine there. And I could probably have got away with just one coat. But I thought, just to be sure, we'll add a second. and then call that it. Just add some across the top here. This is where it will probably get a bit of wear on the edges. Let's find something. There it is, that'll do. Just pop that in there to hold it open. And I'm just literally running the brush on the edge. Okay. Just want to go inside a little bit, just because when I glue the page, the opposite page down over this to cover it, you will see a small border. So just as added protection, we'll do that. I'm going to give that a moment, and then I will flick it round and do the other side. Okay, I've had the heat gun on the front cover and that's drying quite nicely. That's had its second coat. Now let's coat the back cover and I'll do the spine last. Okay, so this is pretty dry, not, it needs a few hours really, but it's dry enough to keep working. And you can see here I've added one of the ties. So I've punched a hole through the main book cover, added this star eyelet and made sure that it clipped my ribbon. So that's done. Now let's turn this over. I've marked the front of the book and I'll just press that down quite hard because it's actually quite thick, this book cover. And still got bits of fabric in there. So I sort of punch it twice. Okay, am I in shot? Yeah. All right, so I've marked the spot, which is about there. Just make sure that I've got it. Yeah. There we go. There's the hole. And you can see if I take this out, there it is. It's actually split in two. It's quite thick. So, yeah. So that is done. And now, what I like to do is glue this piece of ribbon using art glitter glue over this hole. Just double check. Pointy side down this way around. So I'll add glue to about, I don't know, a centimetre. That on there. Press that down. And then before I put the eyelet in, I will go back in with the punching the hole. Just and because because it is quite a tight fit, just make sure that I'm in the right spot. There we are. This is where you have to be careful. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing, can you? Here you go. I'm just adding a little bit more glue here to hold this down, the ribbon. Okay. And it's punched through the ribbon quite well. I might just have to finish it off, and I know that these holes are a bit tight for this brad, for this eyelet. So I'll just tidy all this up. Let's make that a bit rounder. And these are the eyelets, they're star-shaped, which is quite nice. I had them for a while and haven't used them, so I think I've used them a couple of times just lately. It's like I've just discovered them. Yeah, I need to do a bit more. And now we'll set it. There we are. Perfect. So that's done. Now we can glue down these pages. And that's basically what I'm going to do now. Glue down the front and the back. Turn it around. Use this glue, which is the Boyle's glue, I think. So it has a bit of play. Let's move all this other stuff out of the way. There we go. Just use my finger to spread this over a little bit. That should do it. And then remembering how I like to glue the pages, I'll do the same for this. Hold it up straight and bring that up from the spine up to the end of the page. Okay, up to the edges there. And that should be good. And then you can see what I mean about, you do see a small edge all the way around. That's fine. So that one's done. Now I'm going to let this dry a little bit. Have I got enough? Just might put a bit of this glue down here. It's my finger without a nail. I can't. Surprising how often you use that nail, or how often I use mine. Okay, that's better. All right, so I'm going to let this dry for a minute, and then I will come back and do the back page. Okay, so that's dried reasonably well, and I'm happy with that. So that's the front of the cover done. Now let's look at the back. Now this one has this page glued to it. I am going to attack this this page, make sure that that is properly glued so that it stands up. And if it pulls this up a little bit, I don't mind. I can always just cover or decorate that page. I don't think it will matter too much. Okay, so let's go. Okay, and once again I'll use my finger just to spread this out a bit. Alright, so now here we go. Make sure we get this. Oh, actually that's what I was going to do. Just going to put a bit of extra glue around here. You can see I've pulled both of those pages up together just to be sure that I get a good fit. Just have to be careful that they don't stick together. Alright, and once again I will leave that just to dry. I'll just prop it up against my stand. There we go, just for a moment. And what I've done is I have cut a piece from, actually it was from the back of the original cover, and it was sort of centered. It was up around here, this piece. So the top, you can just barely see a bit of water damage at the top, but I thought it would be nice to have this in the book. I don't think I'm going to be able to save any of this, but I thought this would be quite nice. And I've got a label, oh, gluey fingers, I've got a label to add here, and yeah, I thought this might go at the very front of the book. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, let's sort this out. I'll just go around the edge gently. It's nice to keep as much of the original book as you can. So this was my way of doing that. A lot of the pages I've taken out I'm going to be using. I've used some of the hand-drawn flowers off the pages, and also used some of the pages for journal cards and tags, so you know, it's surprising how much you can use. Is that about right? Yeah, that will do. So that's ready to go in the front of the book. Let's have a look how we're looking here. I think that's pretty good. Flip it. All right. So the front of my book is here. Now this is the front page. So I just thought we could add that on there. Nothing fancy. Just glue it down. Has like a plastic cover on it, this paper. I'm hoping I got enough of the good stuff so that that doesn't peel off. I mean, if it does, it does, and there's not a lot you can do about it. Okay. It's when you look at the other side you realise just how damaged this book cover was. So we'll add that. about there, I think. Let's just have a look. See if I've got it straightish. Happy enough with that. Okay. So that's our altered book covered. Now look quite respectable on the shelf. Let's just hope I had enough ribbon to tie a small bow here. Like so. There we are. So still more to go. I'm going to have to be a bit sensible now and not add too many heavy embellishments. I mean, if I could have taken those beaded pieces off, I would have, because that definitely wasn't a good move. But there you go. There is our book covered. And yeah. I'll come back and we'll do a few more pages. Until then, I hope you like this. It's pretty, pinks and purples. Actually, there's a bit of blue in there. And it feels quite nice. It's got a I wouldn't say leathery feel, but it's not smooth. It's got quite a bit of texture there, which is quite nice. And I mean, you could put a label on the front. I'm not a great one for labelling my books, but I might when it's finished. All right, so that's it for today. I hope this video, when I edit it, isn't going to be too long. But hopefully it gives you an idea of how you can use napkin to cover a dilapidated book cover. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time. My posts are a bit haphazard at the moment. There's a lot going on, but I will be back shortly and I hope you can join me. Until then, please take care. Bye.